we were hanging out on stream tonight and just kind of doing random stuff. And somebody suggested, hey, why don't you do Genies? And I hadn't done Genies in a long time, or, a while ago. I did Genies, doing like a one-shot thing rather than like a real clear of it. Just, didn't have to bother gearing for it or dealing with the mechanics of the fight. Just like went in and did it. So I thought it might be fun to go ahead and do that, especially now that we've got Runda EX3, which is available in the story. If you've gone through the story and done that and gotten Runda, you can. And so Runda, I think is a good option to tank this fight. And Genies are very, very powerful physically, so I think it'd be fun to see what Runda could do. And so we kind of worked around playing with some ideas as far as like what elements we wanted to do. Decided to go with an ice team after trying with a water team for a while. And landed on this team that you see here. And so what's fun about this clear is it does involve, some new units and some old units that got rebuffs recently. And Bulwark is just lots of fun. So, and Runda. So we've got that going on. So here's how we're geared. Runda is geared for lots of bulk, so just HP and defense. And just like normal stuff for Runda. A couple things. He does have Rage Beast Roar. That's to help get rid of a wind imbue that happens kind of towards the end of the fight. And then Mechanical Heart, which is going to help us restoring our HP after receiving physical attacks. I know it's time limited. There's not a whole lot of stuff out there that does this otherwise. You could use Snow Bear from Christine if you wanted to, but then you have to lose the arm guard of the backup unit. So I'm using Mechanical Heart. If you don't have Mechanical Heart, you could use Snow Bear, which also is also time limited because it's on a winter unit, but there is currently a banner going on right now where you can get a winter, you can get Christine. So, there you go. Runda, awesome. And he's just got the HP vision card. We've got Fryevia, just kind of honestly, I just hit automatic magic and it kind of geared her randomly. And then I put Bahamut's Synergy on. One of the quests for this level is to do an Esper, so we wanted that. She's got all Esper fill in the shift form and nothing really else geared. She's just going to spend one turn there, so yeah, there you go. And then she's got, this vision card. I don't even know why she's got that vision card. She should really have her own vision card, right? Let's put her vision card on. That's probably better, right? Yeah, okay. Awesome. So there you go. We got Reberta. Roberta's going to spend all her time in the base form, and she's just got, normal magic stuff. She is going to be quad casting Blizzara, which was a huge pain to get on her, because as you look, see, she does not have the ability to equip magic, which is weird because she's a mage, but there she is. She's going to be quad chaining Blizzara using the Aaron Yes ring. So there we are. She's just geared for Fairy Killer and magic. Bulwark needs to be wearing a hat. Thank you. Is going to be spending most of the time in the shift form, where they are geared for lots of elemental resistances for fire, wind, and dark. And just kind of across the board. They're going to be taking a little bit of damage, but they're going to be okay. And then they're providing us with a Fairy Killer buff and Ice Amp and Ice Imbue. And a Spirit Break for the boss, and HP Restore and stuff like that. Bulwark's very fun for this fight. And then Physalis, who's going to do most of the damage, is just going to be quad casting her this ability right here, the Ice Volley shot. And so that's going to be the main source of damage for the fight. It's not terribly powerful, it's a 40x modifier, whatever. But we're going to be doing that just because it changed with Bolting Strike. And that's what we've got for our chainer here. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the funny thing about this fight is it is definitely geared for, it's intended for mages. You have a field effect that does boosted magic damage. And these guys will actually imbue you with elements as you fight. You get imbued with wind kind of towards the end of the fight, and that's not good for physical attackers, and it's also not good for Fryevia, so we are going to have to deal with that at some point, but it's not a big deal. Thankfully, we are ready to go, and we've got our Esper gauge filled so we can accomplish that mission, because as you see here, there is an Evoke an Esper mission, but the other missions are party of 5 or less, which we have, and defeat them within 8 turns, which we're going to do. So here we go. First things first, Runda's going to use the LB Runda scan, put up mitigations and yeah, mitigations. Good stuff. And he's always got auto cover on with his gear. So he doesn't really need to do cover or provoke or anything like that. He's good to go. Plus we want Bulwark provoking because that's how we've got Bulwark geared with the Dancer's Diadem. And yeah, so cool. We're going to double jingle here just to get Mixtape going for triple cast and Bulwark's theme for a Spirit Break. Not that important because Fryevia is going to break as well. She's going to use her Magnus, the key pressure ability, and then flick twice to do sword resistance down on the top two. This one's so weak to ice that he usually dies first. So we want to make sure these guys are weak to swords at least, so they're taking more damage. So we just do 1, 2, 3. Spread the sword imperil around. That way both of them get hit with it, and we're good to go. Physalis is just going to use her gunner type to unlock quadcast, and then a support bullet for Reberta just to help Reberta do a little bit more damage, and then just an ice volley to just do a little bit of damage. There we are. And Reberta is going to do some interesting abilities. She's going to use support from the skies for a buff, and then Ignitos Domain for resistance buff for fire and some other stuff for the party, and then Triune to boost ice damage by 45%. And HP barriers and stuff like that, which is good for Runda because Runda's going to take some damage here. Not a whole lot. Didn't even eat up the whole barrier. As you can see, Runda's doing just fine. That's Mechanical Heart for you. If Runda had taken damage, would be healing that damage up. So I guess you could take Mechanical Heart off. If we needed to restore HP, we could. But right now we don't. So here's where we're going to do some damage. We're going to do this Limit Burst here. We're going to do... actually, no Limit Burst yet. Sorry. She's going to do Frost Blossom and then do LB Fill for all allies. Actually, no. Frost Blossom and her Magnus for herself, and then LB Fill for all allies. There we go. That puts an ice damage field effect up for us, which is very handy. And then quad attack, we're going to do Bolting Strike. Quad magic, Bolting Strike. There we go. Before we do, Bulwark is going to do Ice Imbue and Amp, which is, not as good as Fryevia's, but there it is. And Reberta's as well, but this is going to Imbue, so that's nice. And then we'll do Fairy Killer buff, and we can just Chocophony to try and fill LB gauge for anybody who needs it. There we go. And that one healed health because Bulwark happens to be wearing a fire weapon. I forgot about that. Oops. Doesn't really matter. He's still, they're all about the same. But this is the one you want to watch because he does do, he's weak to ice. So let's take a look. Our chainers do some damage. That's looking pretty good. 76, 75, and 67. So there we are. Runda is, we could guard here, or we could go ahead and cast an Esper if we wanted to. Let's just go ahead and do that. We'll just cast an Esper. There's our mission. Minimal damage for Runda. Magic damage to Bulwark, which does hurt a little bit. It's okay. We can heal that. It's not a problem. Okay, we're going to do LB to heal all that stuff. We're going to do Stargazer at the end of the turn so that Fryevia can refill her LB because she's going to be doing LB here. We're going to do Ice Volley Shot 4 times and Blizzara 4 times. And we're going to kind of watch this one. I want to see how much damage he takes. There we go. So we'll start with her, then send the chainers. So we'll start, wait, send the chainers. There we go. Nice damage. And these guys are sitting pretty at 16%. And then hopefully this fills her up the rest of the way. Not quite, but I think her natural LB fill is going to take care of that on the next turn. There we go. Runda takes a little bit of damage. Mitigations are awesome. There we go. And her LB is filled. Now, we do have, if you look, should have ice element, but is also imbued with wind. And that's not good for her because this one absorbs wind. So what we're going to do with Runda is we're going to use Rage Beast Roar on Fryevia. And then Bulwark is going to triple again and do Ice Imbue, right? Fairy Killer again, which is nice. And then Electric Ensemble. Nope. Mixtape to give stat buffs. Now she's got all of her stat buffs and only has Ice Element. So that's pretty cool. We'll just reload and we'll do it again. So send it and go. And there we have it. Genies in 4 turns, relatively safe. Yeah, Runda is geared really well, but the good news is Runda gears really easily for defense and HP. And that would have gotten us all missions. Let's see our damage. Fryevia and Physalis are of course carrying it. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I didn't show Physalis's vision card. Let's take a quick look at Physalis's gear because I think I just said, oh, I'm using Physalis. Here's her gear. So she's wearing Fryevia's sword because she's trying to carry the damage. She's got 100% or 300% Fairy Killer. There you go. She gears really naturally for that. And she's got those abilities. And she's got the Dazzling Demoness Vision card, which helps us get really high magic. That's it. So that was fun to work out, and I hope that's interesting and fun for you all as well. I didn't want to just blow it up on turn 1 with Medina again, but I wanted to try and do something that kind of showed, how you can play with some of the mechanics of the fight and bring some units that are fun to do this with, and deal with how to deal with some of the stuff that comes your way. So if that's interesting to you, definitely like and subscribe and click the bell and all those things. Actually, it's worth noting we are, as of the time this was recorded, about 100 followers on YouTube away from unlocking the community panel. So if you see this and you haven't followed or subscribed yet, please do, because I'd really like to hit that 500 goal so we could do the community panel and posts and stuff like that. It'll unlock a lot of tools for me, and it's kind of a little goal I've set. So if you see this and haven't done it yet, please do. It'd help me out a lot. Make me feel good. Make me feel good, please. All right. We will see you next time.